Hello, this is Mr. Ellis. I'd like to do a quick video that covers the creation and use of objects. We had this lecture in the last class. The idea here is to see how the creation and use of objects is done. We will have a program that demonstrates how to use the objects. First, let me say that I have my HTML pretty standard. We've gone over this HTML 100 times. I have p tags without content. We're going to use the inner HTML or text content to display on the screen. That's my display. I have a JavaScript file that I am importing, objectscript.js. Okay. Now, most of this takes place in the script, so this is where I'll spend the rest of the video. I'm going to have to uncomment some of the statements, but if you read the comments that are between, you'll probably follow along what I'm saying. All right, the declaration of an object can be accomplished in many ways. The first way we're going to talk about is the empty. Just like with arrays, objects or storage spaces in your code that are set aside when you declare the object. The object can hold data like an array. However, an object is not indexed by numbers. It is indexed by keys. Okay. Here we see an empty object defined. Okay, it reserves the space in storage. However, there's no attributes or properties that are assigned to that object as of yet. The assignment of the attributes for this object occur right here when I make assignments. Now you'll see the same kind of syntax as an array, except for now we don't have numbers. They're not indexed by numbers. They're indexed by what is known as a key. Okay, the key itself, in this case, is name. I'm going to define a property or attribute called name. So my dog has a name. His name is Luther. My dog has a color. His name is color. Now, note, here I use what is known as dot notation. You don't have to put the square brackets or the quotes around this attribute because I'm using dot notation. This is just simply the use of the square brackets, so you have to use quotes. Okay. I'll go back to that square bracket for my age. Dog has an age of 16. Now, what it's done is it takes these values and creates a key value pair. I'm going to do that right here. Key value pair of name If I could type, I'd be dangerous. Okay, key value pair of name colon Luther, comma, separated list, color, black, and age 16. Now, if you would note, I put quotes around both the key and the value. And this is not necessary. If you don't have a space or special character for your key, you can leave it unquoted. Okay, but it's good practice to put quotes around both, and that way there will be no mystery trying to find out why something's not working. Okay. All right, so now I've made this definition, and I've loaded it with some values, key value pairs. Okay. Now I need to access that information. In order to access it, just like we made the assignments using the square brackets, we can do the same down here using the square brackets. Okay. Now, instead of placing information in or changing the information that's in that key, I'm accessing the value using that key. And all it does, again, is use my p tags as output. Okay. And it simply says this object is a dog with a name of, his color is, his age is. And it should automatically show up on the screen here. I want to make sure that I don't have any errors. Excuse me. It's not COVID. It's not COVID. All right. I'm going to go out here and reload it, of course, so you can see that it is, this object is a dog with the name of Luther, with a color of black. His age is 16. Okay. Now that simple output just shows that you're able to access the data that's encapsulated in the object. Okay, I'm going to go back to my here and comment some things out for right here. We look at another method for the definition and population of an object. Okay, I'm sticking with the dog scenario. Okay, this time I use a variable var dog equals, and inside of my inside of my squirrely brackets, I place the key value pairs. Okay, and the idea here is instead of an empty object, I now populate that object. It's the same difference as if I were to assign those values using the square brackets. It's just now more formal. I am now requesting storage and populating the properties. Okay, and pretty much the same thing. I take the input I take the data from the object and use my p tags as print media. And also note, you can use your dot notation as output also. Okay, so I'm going to save, go to my object, go to my, and reload. Okay, and now you see the dog's name is Lucky, and he's a white dog, and his age is 8, young and frisky. Okay, now I'm going to, in the beginning of the video, I had said that objects contain attributes and behaviors. Well, these behaviors are implemented by using anonymous functions. So we declare a function inside of the object as the value part of the key value pair. Okay, here I'm keeping Lucky. His name is Lucky. His color is white. His age is 8. Okay, but now Bark is a key that is actually a function that has a document.write in it, and all it does is put Bark on the document. Okay, and again, I'm using my p tags as output for the original data, name, color, and age. Okay, but Bark is called as a function of dog, as a method of dog. When functions are embedded in objects, they become known as methods. Okay, this is a method of dog, and this dot notation, get used to it, because in JavaScript a lot of the system defined methods are called with dot notation. Okay, so I'm using bark function. You see the open and close parentheses, and dog is the object. So I'm going to go to my browser and I'm going to reload. And as I do so, you see this object is a lucky dog. I changed the header with the name of Lucky. His color is white. His age is 8. And he barks. Now this was created using the document.write line. These are p tags that have had their inner HTML changed. When you have multiple objects with the same attributes and behaviors, you can declare them using a constructor. You can create a function with the parameters list that matches the attributes of each object. Okay. Now, this is an ordinary function declaration. In object terminology, it is now known as a constructor. Okay. It will allow me, when I provide the materials, name, color, and age, to construct an object. That object will be a dog. Okay. So you're familiar with function notation. So function dog, the parameters are name, color, and age. Okay. In between here, excuse the clock. Within the body of the function, we now use the parameters to populate the attributes. Okay. This dot name equals name. Okay. This keyword, the this keyword applies to the current object. But in definition, when you're defining, this will allow you to abstract. Okay. But when we get to an actual object, that dot will be the actual object's name, and you'll see it once we start using this constructor. Okay. This dot color equals color. This dot age equals age. And now this dot bark, remember bark is a function, anonymous because it has no name, a function that will bark. It uses the document.write to bark. Okay. So it's the same object as before. It's just that now I'm able to use the function dog to create dogs. I use the new keyword, this new keyword, to define as many objects as I want. Because now I have a blueprint, okay, or a template. I can define as many dogs as I want. So I have my dog, okay, is a new dog named Luther. He's brown and he's 16. Your dog is a new dog named Mike. He's black and he's 10. Her dog is a new dog named Pat. It's gray and 6 years old. Okay. Now, when I go to use these, I must use the dog's name. Not dog's name, but the object's name. Okay. And any dot notation that I would like. Okay. Here at the bottom right here, I use the my dog bark, your dog bark, her dog bark. Okay. And my dog name, your dog name, her dog name. The dot notation combined with the actual object name. Okay. So I'm going to, And now when I run this, the output I've already discussed, but when I run it, it is going to create 3 objects as opposed to just the 1. It may help if I save. Now I'm going to use 3 objects to create output. Okay. What are their names? Luther, Mike, and Pat. These dogs will bark at you. Bark, bark, bark. This has been Mr. Ellis discussing objects, creation, and access of the data inside of objects.